As some of you know, I purchased a group of 2 males and a female. We are calling them Bert on the left, Ernie on the right, and Phyllis in the center. I like to name my gals after old ladies that are either in my life or just names that I like. Phyllis is after someone pretty special to me. And yeah, Bert and Ernie here are ridiculous. They do not leave Phyllis alone. Like, I've been kind of monitoring them, and all they mostly do is harass her to no end. And if they're not harassing her, they're plain fighting amongst themselves, where she gets no peace or quiet or a break. So speaking of Phyllis here, what we're going to do is we're going to separate her today, and then these two guys can beat the crap out of themselves until I figure out an alternative, which is probably a friend is going to take one, and then maybe I'll keep one for the summertime group myself, or I'll brewmate them, or I haven't quite figured that out yet. We're doing one step at a time, these guys, because I didn't plan on taking them really all in. It was, I'm going to say, a slight impulse, but not really, because I wanted this Sheila, and although she's pretty pyramided, we're going to give her the best life. Maybe she'll give us an egg or two. Obviously, breeding is my main intention, as well as animal care, so if I can make this tortoise's life even slightly better, it beats her entire life of hanging out with these males, because that's what they were doing prior, by the sounds of things. Because I never did see setups, and it didn't sound like they were that separate. So I feel like she spent the majority of her life going on a third wheel date, I guess is the word. But you can see she has some pyramiding, a little bit of MBD, a split scute, but Marilyn isn't much different than her, and Marilyn's been one of my best tortoises ever of just hardiness. She's always as good. But when they have MED, I do find they're just a touch more derpier than what they could be. So you can see she's definitely getting her steps in. So her going into a smaller environment until the quarantine phase is over, I really don't feel too bad for. But I like to keep any tortoise in a 6x3 minimum space. So she's getting probably 3x5, I guess. So I do find it a little bit chintzy for the old girl. But I'll be taking her out of here whenever she comes around, and I can just scoop her up, and then maybe I'll make a video of how these guys are making out together, because I've never kept 2 males together long term. I've rehomed multiple 2 male operations, but I've never had them this long where I haven't rehomed them, because as much as I believe tortoises are lifelong pets, I believe in rehoming them for a better life. And if I can set a friend up with giving the same care that I do, then it's not a rehome, it's a success. Because that's a huge part of this channel, is me wanting to bring UK practices to Canada, to North America, because I do find we are rather dated. Yeah, there's some good sources like Garden State Tortoise, but there's also bad sources where they think feeding melon for hydration is a good idea, and it just is not. I think this is when we scoop her up and put her in her new spot, and then I'll just feed them for the day and maybe make a video of the males. She's going to come around again. So this is all she does all day long is come around and hide from them and try and get around. So, let's see here. Come here, Phyllis. Come here. Now, actually, I noticed, good time to talk about, I do not condone pellets. These came with these guys, and I hate throwing things out, so I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with them, because parts of the ingredients are not bad, but it's kind of just a grass, and so I might end up smashing them down and throwing them into my own pellets just for funsies, but I really don't feed that kind of pellets myself. I make my own pellets at this point, or feed this dried forage, but I've been working on her beak a little bit, because it was almost down to her jaw, but she could have a couple more snips. So I'll be sure to show you guys a couple photos of that. I like to make it look so that they look like a grumpy old man with no teeth in, instead of a parrot. So now these guys are going to have their own tasks. But let's see if I can do this gracefully, because I lost my step ladder. Ugh. Let's see here. So this was Susie's old setup. And I might have to switch out some clay pots for this tortoise to be fulfilled for the winter here. Let's see what she does here. Just lets her feel herself around in peace and bask in peace, because she never gets to do that. But I sure do love Phyllis, because you have the ugliest shell I've got out of all the tortoises, so I'll never ever lose you in the garden. Not that I lose them, I just can't always decipher which one's which until you get to looking at them. But yeah, water dish big enough they can climb into, have a soak, have a drink. I'm going to freshen that up here. Give some of this soil choir a wet down. Just let her just really be a pampered girl. Here, it's that little bop into the clay pot there. I feel like she thought that was a male for a second, because she's been on all edges for way too long. Oh, I'm dying sick, but what else is new? This is fun, just kind of watch her. Just do a quick temperature check in here. 29, 37 spot. Those are spots. Let's see here. Yeah, I could raise that bulb just a tiny bit. It's a little bit hot, but they do like a spot of 35, and it's only for the daytime. I'm always concerned that anything with choir mixed into it can lit on fire, so I don't know what its ignition point is, but I feel like it's got to be around that 50 mark. See, like, this is probably the first time she's just been chilling and having a bevy since I soaked them. Like, them guys have been relentless. I can hear them going off, and I feel like they were housed like that before. Because she definitely has some means of trying to hide from them. She's definitely creative. So we're going to let her just chillax and be all cool. I don't think she can fit in those clay pots. Very nice for her to be really want her to be relaxing. So I wonder if I got one handy here. I do. Let's do a switcheroo here. Sorry for the shakes there. I broke my phone mount. I'd like to live feed. But for some reason I can't live feed from my phone, so I've not figured out how to do that just yet. Have to throw in another fresh set of cuttlefish in here for her, because I'd like to just mineral her right up. When I got her, I gave all three of them a little shot of probiotics that I have. I find that's good for their stomach, especially if they've been fed lettuce and fruits. In my opinion, it may calm down a worm burden, but that's honestly hearsay. And then I gave her a shot of liquid calcium as well, all of them, because these tortoises, calcium is life. Look at her. Who knows if she's ever even seen rocks before, right? Like, some of these tortoises, they get sold at the pet shop in the old classic 18 by 36 vivarium. They outgrow it. The people get rehomed, and they get rehomed 4 times. And you just never know what actually happens to them, I've learned. Because although I'm not the perfect tortoise owner, especially when I started out, my tortoise has one of the smoothest shells out of all of them. So unless you do a lot of research before getting the tortoise, I do find the tortoise shell tells the story. Not to knock them. It's just like people, I myself took on a tortoise pretty impulsively, even though I had one as a child, but we obviously didn't offer good care practices in the 90s. Pretty sure the old man was feeding that thing dog food. And I would highly doubt that it's still alive today. So that's kind of what I'm trying to go against, is teaching everyone how beautiful and how easy these creatures can be if set up correctly. And the setup is not hard. It just, you have to understand it. It's no different than driving a car. It's not hard. Once you do it, you can put lipstick on while you're driving down the highway. But when you're first, you have to learn it. And if not, you can crash that car real good. Your pal Brandon, Hops and Scotch, Natural Tortoise Keepers, especially in Canada. Subscribe. Share this with a friend. I'd more than appreciate it. I will keep you tuned up on the results of the two males. We'll see if maybe they'll buddy up if they don't have a gal pal within their eyesight. And if not, like, yeah, or share them. I got one listed on Kijiji. I'm at my max amount of listings apparently, so I can't list the other one. But I've got, and yeah, I'm on all platforms nearly. TikTok, I'm on the TikTok. I comment on there because the TikTok keeping is atrocious.